Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work so you love God and others more. Dr. Joey interviews Christian business professionals just like you to discover their secrets for working faith positive in a negative world. Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett.
Faith Positive Nation, about 2/3 to 3/4 of all American workers say when asked that they're dissatisfied with their current work. In fact, some of them will say they're somewhere between dissatisfied and very dissatisfied, which makes it even worse, right? 2/3 to 3/4. So just think about it. If you go to worship, it's most likely the person on either side of you is not happy in their work. And so somewhere there's a disconnect between our work and our worship, right? Our divine design, what it is that God's put within us to do while we're here in response to the calling that God has on our lives. Well, today's guest, Faith Positive Nation, is going to help you do something that's absolutely incredible, and that is to design your dream lifestyle. You're going to absolutely love today's show. If you ever have one of those days where you say, I just don't want to get up and go to work, and if you have more than 2 or 3 of those a week, you're going to want to bookmark this. You're going to want to download this episode. You're going to want to save it, watch it over and over and over and over. Because my guest today is from designdreamlifestyle.com is her website. So Faith Positive Nation, help me welcome the woman you've been looking for, Reelika Schulte. Reelika, welcome to Faith Positive Radio.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here.
Oh, we're excited to have you. Where have you been all of our lives? We're all sitting here on the edge of our seats now, ready to design our dream lifestyle. So talk to us about how we design our dream lifestyle. What's your work involved in this?
Yes. So really for me, so as you said, like a lot of people are miserable sometimes at work. And we don't always realize that there is a way out and we all have a choice to make a difference in somehow. And for me, I realized that when I went to college, I got my degree, I went to work. Working in a corporate field was supposed to be like my dream come true. But at the end of the day, I was working literally 10 to 12 hours per day, and I was stuck in a cubicle, and I realized that I am really, really miserable here, that I really don't want to be here. I want to be home with my son. I want to be doing other things, some more meaningful things in life. And that triggered me to start looking for other options. And I realized that my background in business can really benefit others, to helping them to build their businesses, because I personally grew up in an entrepreneurial family myself. And I learned everything about the business operations, and I realized that if I want to design a different type of lifestyle for myself, so maybe I can help others to do the same. So I started slowly transitioning out of my corporate field and launching my online coaching business. And I named it Design Dream Lifestyle because for me, it was really looking for my own calling and my purpose and how can I help others to do the same.
Looking for your own calling and purpose and helping others do the same. Oh, I love that. But that shift, that transition away from the miserable to doing something new, something must have happened to empower you. There must have been a defining moment, or as I like to call them, God moments, in which you just sort of woke up and said, Reelika, it doesn't have to be this way. And I say that, Reelika, because I want to hear that part of the story, but also because so many people are paralyzed by the familiar. They choose to stay in the familiar. And even if it's miserable, they're going to stay right there in Cubicle Nation, which is where you were stuck, that was disengaged from the dream you had when you came out of college. What was that God moment for you when you said, I don't have to be here. I can make a different choice?
I feel like it was a slow transition, that it was definitely scary, that it wasn't just one day I woke up and suddenly everything was bright. But it was definitely a transition that I realized that when my son was, I think that he was maybe 4 years old. And then I realized that I'm missing out a lot, literally a lot of time. And I work when I was working in a finance and business, I literally was working even home, but I didn't have the present time And I realized this is not the quality of life, that I need to either switch my jobs and do something different, or I need to figure out like another way. And my parents actually have always told me that you should start the business. I just never knew what type of business I want to create. And I never really had like a good business idea. So, and so that was kind of like when I transitioned out, I literally just like started looking for opportunities online. And what I did is I got started in a blogging field. And I started blogging based on my own personal experience about budgeting and finance and business side. And that opened up like a new, pretty much like a brand new world for me that I didn't know existed. And I connected with a lot of like-minded people online, and I created courses, and I literally started like, earning some income online and just really like, transitioning out of this corporate world where I was stuck.
Yeah, where you were stuck. So your son was about 3 or 4, and that was your God moment. That's when you realized, hey, I'm his only mom. He's growing up very quickly. Yeah, 4-year-olds will do that to you because now they're potty trained and they can tell you what they want and how they want it. Ask for your time.
Yeah.
Boy, that's we'll do for others what we won't do for ourselves, right? And so you do it for yourself. Yeah, rather than just do it for yourself. So did I just hear you say that you transitioned out of that corporate position, but you didn't really have a game plan in place?
I had very little game plan, to be honest. And I did have a lot of faith because I really believe in God that if something comes in my mind, then that is there for a reason. So that it's not that I can just, that I would have a plan if it wasn't like a purposeful plan. And I knew that things will work out, and I knew that I'm capable, and I can always find another job. That was my kind of like a plan C or plan D.
Yeah, so you save up some money, you take off, you don't really have a plan, but you know Jehovah Jireh, the God who provides for you and continues to provide for you. And so you trust into that. So when you say an idea comes into your mind, how does that, for me, that's the work of the Holy Spirit, right? How does that idea that comes into your mind play into your designing your dream lifestyle?
I feel like when I see somebody else doing something what I would love to do, then I really want to explore more. I typically either maybe like, just maybe enroll into this program or connect with that person and just like, really learn more. And I know that if I discover something that is appealing to me, and I know that this can also help others, so it's just really compelling. And I feel like by nature, I'm a very stubborn person as well. So that if I want to learn something, I put a lot of effort into this, and even just like studying a lot of hours. And so until I really like understand this piece, because I do believe that there is a Holy Spirit that comes in us and can really guide us in the right direction, so that we don't have to walk, this journey on our own.
Oh boy. That is so important, particularly for entrepreneurs or for people who are considering an entrepreneurial lifestyle, to know that you're not on your own, because it's, you work with entrepreneurs, and so do we in our company. It gets kind of lonely there as an entrepreneur, or we see it a lot in the C-suite also.
Yep.
So,
it is lonely. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you help people overcome that loneliness? Because obviously your dream lifestyle is not going to be a lonely one, right?
No, definitely not. And I feel like a lot of times you really have to find the like-minded people around you. And I feel like, so in my current work, I work with a lot of Christian women as well. So they are either like a health coaches, life coaches, Christian mindset coaches, and typically they have had some sort of personal struggle that they have overcome in their own life as well. So for example, like a depression, or like losing a child, or just like anything like, something like really major that really transitioned them into finding God, finding Jesus, and finding the faith in their life. And now they really want to help others to do the same. And I really see that, like, really just being surrounded even with my own clients or with like other entrepreneurs, like who are on the same journey, is so powerful. because it's
Oh,
really
wow.
like God always says is like when like several people come together on His name, like really magic happens.
Yeah, two or three gather in my name, I'll be there, he promises, right?
Exactly.
So your preferred niche is with Christian businesswomen who have experienced some sort of adversity in their lives and have dealt with it successfully and want to help other women learn to deal with it successfully. Well, that sounds amazing, and I want to know more about it, but you just caused to come to mind that passage Paul wrote to the Corinthian church, right? About the present sufferings and the things that you go through and how God can take that and use that the learning, the spiritual growth from your pain there to help others. And that sounds exactly like what you're helping these women do. So you built a niche community of Christian business women, right, who want to
Yeah.
help others. Tell us a little bit more about how you help them.
Yeah, so most of them are either coming to me from the background like I was, working in a full-time job, but they're really not happy over there. They want to
Mhm.
just transition out and they want to do coaching, but they're lacking the business side. Or sometimes they have maybe their coaching certificate, but they really, again, don't have the business side in place.
Yeah, because it's one thing to be
Yeah.
ICF certified. It's another to know how to get clients, right?
Yeah, totally different game. So,
Right.
and so really what we do is that we look at the expertise, we really get clear about like how do we take them from this idea and create the package or program for them, and whether this is maybe like a one-on-one coaching program or a group program or self-study courses, and implement the marketing pieces too so that they can really start attracting their own tribe to them and really find those right people to them. So,
Mhm.
and we normally do that. Like what has worked really well for me is helping them through like a kind of like a mastermind piece,
Mm.
because again I feel like when people come together who are like-minded and have the community around them, that's so powerful to really to get the extraordinary results.
And so those extraordinary results come from the women teaching each other or sharing their stories and their
Yeah.
successes, and you help guide the mastermind process then.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely. And I feel like it's something that a lot of times we think we are alone with our struggles and
Mm.
even like in entrepreneurship. But when you
Mhm.
see that somebody else is going through the same thing, and not just like one person, but actually every single other person around us is going through the same struggles. And
Mm.
it sounds like I'm actually normal as well. There's,
My dysfunction is normal, so maybe it's not a
yeah.
dysfunction anymore. Maybe it's just functional. We're all doing the best we can, right?
And
Now,
it's powerful. It's really, really powerful then.
well, the isolation is so strong, and I think a satanic device, right, to divide us and in that way conquer us. But when two or three gather in his name, right, and are committing themselves and naming and claiming the victory for each other and with each other, amazing things happen. Share with us some of those amazing results that come out of these mastermind groups of Christian women who are committed to each other's success.
Yeah, so I feel like one of my really amazing clients. So at some point in her life, she was actually homeless. So,
Oh,
and
mm,
she got a job and she got back on the track, but she was really depressed as well. But she found the way out of the depression. And now what she does is she's working with other Christian-minded women specifically, like
mhm.
helping them overcome the depression. She's not a therapist, but she's really talking from there like as a personal aspect and like that. And she has been doing mission trips to the UK now as well with her husband and church. And so it's just
Wow.
really amazing to see that somebody who had nothing in place, just an idea, and now it's just really like living out the full potential. So it's just
Oh,
a
wow.
ripple effect. Yeah.
That's huge because we as Christians are not immune from depression and other mental challenges. And so to hear her helping other women to overcome that depression, not as a therapist, but when you're talking about mission trips, I take it that an attitude of gratitude is important to her process and that giving out to others is also important.
It is. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
wonderful. Now you said something that fascinates me because it's the way God works with me and works with so many of our clients. And that is, you said she had an idea in her mind. And as you and I spoke a moment ago, that idea comes from the Holy Spirit. One of the things it sounds like to me that you do in helping people design their Christian women design their dream lifestyle is to help put them in tune with the Holy Spirit who wants to bring these ideas to mind. What are some of the ways you help these Christian business women do that very thing, to hear from the Holy Spirit and then have the courage to act on the idea?
Yeah, so, and it's actually very interesting because I feel like a lot of times we think that we don't really have any skills, or who am I to do this? And so
Right,
why
right,
should anybody listen to us?
right.
So what we really like to do, because I really do believe that every single person has unique gifts and unique talents that
Mm,
Holy Spirit has put in us.
mm-hmm.
We actually like to list out, like literally on the paper, all the skill set that you have in terms of like all the courses you have taken. Like let's say when you have been working somewhere. So like how many years did you work? What kind of projects did you run? Like, and when you list out everything, you realize that you have several pages of like skill sets and talents, and like this, but you're actually really valuable to somebody.
Yeah, you thought you didn't have any, and now you got 2 or 3 pages worth, right?
So
Yeah.
that like if you're looking your life, like, really like your lifetime, so that
Mhm.
there's so much that you have maybe like, like studied or learned, even books that you have like maybe like read, or
Mhm.
podcasts that you listen. So like all
Mhm.
those things that you actually experience in your life can be so beneficial to somebody else. And
Mm.
we actually want to put everything on a paper, because otherwise it's hard for us to see that, yes, you do have some really good skill set.
Yeah,
And
it's
so,
not
and
so easily discounted when you can read it on a piece of paper. It's easy to
yes.
slough it off and just say, "Oh, I don't have any skills, no, no talent. Nobody, I don't have anything anybody would want to learn from me."
Exactly.
And then it must be amazing, Reelika, to watch that first skill come down, and that
Yeah.
second skill, and I bet it speeds up as they list more and more and more, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And that's the power of that, because
Mm.
normally, again, it's kind of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be coaching on, or like to have what it takes. Everybody else is so successful around me. And so
Mm.
am I to do that? So really the comparison comes in, but this
Mm.
can be really, really helpful. And additional thing what we do is we obviously want to talk to, I always send them out to the world pretty much, like, to find some people who potentially could be the ideal clients, and just talk to those people and just
Mm.
figure out what they need from you. Is there a way
Mm.
that you can help them or benefit them somehow? And
Mm.
typically, I feel like that's the place when the Holy Spirit can shows up, because it's really, they typically have some really serious like aha moments that, wow, somebody asked me this and they don't know that, and like, and I can actually help this person so that they
Mm.
really need my help. So
And it's
it's
so
really,
humbling when you're telling your story and someone else finds power and strength from your story. Like I can
exactly.
imagine, let's say you have a client who lost a child died. You send them to a grief share group or something like that, and they meet another woman who had a child to die, and then just sit down and do that one-to-one. The questions that they start asking you just come naturally, don't they?
Yes,
So
exactly.
you realize what God's calling you into, and that it's not just you and your meager resources, it's God going ahead of you to prepare the way.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like really the storytelling is so important. So like
Mm.
you really have to be able to share and like, be humble, and like, and be there for others too. Yeah,
Mm. Everybody loves a good story, right, Reelika?
absolutely.
Well, you said you got into designing your dream lifestyle through blogging, so you must have been telling your story, right?
I definitely was, and just kind of sharing from my heart. And I feel like that's what it really was. And so really just putting the stuff like out there, like, the best way possible.
Oh, I know. Yeah, well, the best way possible, but yet it's kind of scary to be vulnerable when you're writing or telling your story, isn't it?
It's very scary, and I am a completely introverted person as well. So for me to even like to share anything was really, really hard at first. But I feel like at some point when you do, people really relate to you. And the
Mm.
moment that maybe when you get like the first letter from somebody, or like the first comment to blog post, or first
Mm.
comment to Facebook post, when somebody says, that really resonated with me, like, thank you for
Mm.
this, right? So
Mm.
sometimes they send you like a private message. So yeah, this is something that really is like a snowball effect, that you realize that, wow, this can actually help somebody. Somebody really needs to hear that today. So
Mm. Mm. We're talking some about the challenges that your clients face. And by the way, this is Reelika Schulte. And if you're sitting in front of your computer, feel free to go to designdreamlifestyle.com while we're talking, right? You can still listen to us. But as you go there, these women, these Christian women have challenges. What are some of the more common challenges that you see them bringing to you, Reelika, and looking for help with?
I feel like the biggest challenge, and I think that occurs to me as well, is we want to help everyone. I want to help everyone. So and that is such a it's like a personal struggle sometimes that and I see all my clients facing the same thing, but what, I could even help this person and that person, that that you really have to first of all narrow down who you want to focus on, because otherwise you just end up talking to nobody.
Oh yeah. That's so well said. You wind up talking to nobody. Yeah. It's almost like when you're blogging or you're doing your video logs or something like that. You want to have that person that's on the other side of the table in mind as you write for them, right? Exactly. So once they overcome that, I can't help anybody, nobody would want to hear anything I have to say, then the opposite equal reaction is, I want to help everybody. So how do you help them narrow down the focus to their ideal client or customer?
Yes, so I feel like the market research is definitely very helpful.
Okay.
And really just understanding what might be this big problem that the ideal clients are looking to solve. So, and because if they don't have a major problem, it's really hard to talk to so many different angles. I see that all the time with the life coaches who come to me or the weight loss coaches who come to me. So, and they want to help everyone, but it's not the same that for every single person. So you really have to just get one focus. And for example, I have someone who's focused only on diabetes. So that's very specific, that somebody else who's not suffering from diabetes is not going to her. And she has a very unique skill set, and that makes her stand out as the expert online too. So, yeah.
And so where does the spiritual journey interact with that choice of your ideal client?
I feel it happens in the conversations. Really, it's just talking it through with me, just understanding what's really that you're passionate about, but what do you really feel called to do? Because a lot of times people just think that, okay, where's the money? What angle should I go in business-wise, right? And maybe I think it's also that I just don't want to pick something just because of money, but I also want to pick something that I feel called to do, so that I want to make sure that these two are aligned, that it is that it does have a business potential, but also that this is something that I would do no matter what, pretty much, that whether there is much potential or not.
Yeah, well, as you say, if you're talking to nobody, if you're just chasing money, right? Because then you see dollars everywhere. So how do your women, your Christian women who are coming to you looking for help in discerning their ideal client, what role does prayer play in their pursuit of their ideal client?
It's a lot, and actually that's something that I sometimes give them homework with. It's if you don't know exactly what direction to go, or even if you have so many different passions, that's another thing, that if you have so many different passions, just go and sit down and pray about that, and don't force that. Just give yourself some time to let it kind of come out from you, so that God will give you the solution.
Oh yeah, it does take time. So what do you say to that client who has all these passions, doesn't know which one to pursue, and you send them home to pray, right? And tell them, take your time. What if they say, I don't have time to pray?
Well, I haven't had that yet happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't had that happen yet, but I would say that I typically kind of try to hold them back and say that, so this is your homework. And sometimes the prayer can also be through writing. So, for example, if they're multi-passionate, so I just recently had this case that you had so many different ideas. Just pick all those ideas, and I wanted to kind of write a list of 30 things how you can help your potential client. And so just kind of let this come out from you, and you see that one list comes really long, the other one comes short. So you kind of understand, and just pray about that. Just like let God guide you through that this journey. And so
yeah, and it's just absolutely amazing to me why we avoid calling on the creator of the universe, right? Who has an infinite mind with infinite resources, and we think we have to do it on our own. Proverbs 3:5-6 just runs through my head all the time about, lean not into your own understanding, but trust God in everything. And it works in business too, is what I hear you saying. So Reelika Schulte is our guest today on Faith Positive Radio. Faith Positive Nation always wants to know from our guests about a favorite Bible verse or Bible passage. And I'm really hoping it ain't Proverbs 3:5-6, because I just gave that one away if it is. But
it is actually.
It is.
It is actually. And I was just thinking like, okay, that is my absolute. I use that all the time in my life, in my business, and it's just to even maybe like to show you that this is actually here.
Yeah, full transparency, Faith Positive Nation. We didn't discuss this ahead of time. I had no idea. It's just the one that the Spirit brought to my mind at that moment in that very process. Oh my goodness. Okay, tell me why.
I'm gonna read this. So trust.
Yes, you read it. Tell Faith Positive Nation, Reelika, why it's your favorite.
Absolutely. So,
okay.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. So for me, what this tells is pretty much like everything about my own life, but also about my business, is that there's always challenges ahead. There's always things that do not work out the way that we think at first, but I don't have to figure out everything on my own. I can just let it be. I can just trust the process. And if it's supposed to happen, God will show me the right way. God will show, that he will bring me the right resources, the right people in my life, and just everything comes together the way it's supposed to be on the right time.
Yeah. Oh, and the right time.
Yeah.
Those paths straight, you walk them as they unfold in front of you. Well, that's absolutely marvelous. That's crazy. I don't think I've ever anticipated somebody's favorite verse before. That's just the one that came to me. Thanks for sharing that. If we could all just lean into that verse and trust the Lord a little bit more and lean less into ourselves, then those paths get straight. And that's really the process through which you help women design their dream lifestyle is what are you passionate about, narrowing that focus down, what are the skills that you have, and making those paths straight to, at their point of pain or transformation, help other Christian women as well. Reelika, this has been an absolutely phenomenal interview. Thank you so much for the gift of your time. Somebody in Faith Positive Nation, I'm thinking a bunch of Christian women who are sitting on their own business ideas, right, want to get in one of your mastermind groups. How's the best way for them to contact you?
Yeah, so feel free to email me, Reelika, REELIKA @designdreamlifestyle.com, or just go to my website, designdreamlifestyle.com, and you find information about that. And
Reelika has a page on getpositive.today, our website, and so you feel free to go there and find her page, and both her email address and the web address are right there. All you have to do is click on them. And that's for those of you who are on a treadmill, morning commute, evening commute, or walking the dog and don't have something to write with, right? Reelika, this has been a wonderful interview. Thank you so much for the gift of your time and wisdom. May I ask how old that little 3 or 4 year old little boy is now?
He's 8. Yeah, he just recently turned 8. Yeah.
Wow. What a fun time of life, right?
It is a fun time.
My wife and I have 2 daughters, and they're grown and gone. So we're anticipating some little boys, 3, 4, and 8 coming to us so we can play with them and have a great time. DesignDreamLifestyle.com is the website. Reelika Schulte is our guest today. Reelika, thank you so much. I pray God's blessings on you, that amazing son of yours, all the women in your mastermind groups. God bless all of them. And thank you for the gift of your time and wisdom today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thanks for listening to Faith Positive Radio, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work so you love God and others more. Suggest guests and ask questions when you email Dr. Joey at info@getpositive.today. And be sure to get your free gift of the 5 positive business conversations to have today coaching program at getpositive.today. Until next time, may God bless you with everything your heart can hope for and more than your mind can imagine.